The concept of 33rd degree knowledge has long sparked fascination, intrigue, and speculation. It refers to wisdom and understanding thought to be accessible only to a privileged few, often seen as the pinnacle of intellectual, spiritual, or philosophical achievement. While the term is most commonly associated with the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite in Freemasonry, where it symbolizes a high level of honor and leadership, the idea of secret knowledge available only to the elite is much older. This concept stretches back through the annals of ancient civilizations, religious traditions, mystery schools, and occult practices. From the guardians of sacred texts in ancient Egypt to the esoteric philosophies of Pythagoras and Plato, societies have often created systems where knowledge was seen as power, and access to this knowledge was carefully restricted. In this essay, we will delve into the origins of this idea, how it has manifested in different forms throughout history, and its continuing influence in modern thought. We will explore not only the traditions that have safeguarded this elite knowledge, but also the allure and mystique surrounding the concept of hidden wisdom. Ultimately, 33rd degree knowledge serves as a symbol of humanity's quest for enlightenment, mastery over the unknown, and the desire to ascend beyond the mundane into higher realms of understanding. Knowledge as power, a historical perspective. In many of the earliest civilizations, knowledge was not only a tool for survival and development, but also a means of controlling and structuring society. Those who held the keys to knowledge often wielded considerable influence and power over others. This was particularly true in cultures where literacy, mathematics, and astronomy were seen as mystical or divine arts. For example, in ancient Mesopotamia, scribes held an esteemed place in society. The ability to read and write was a rare skill, often confined to priests, scholars, and those who managed the state bureaucracy. These individuals had access to legal codes, religious texts, and records of astronomical observations that were integral to the functioning of the society. This knowledge was not widely shared with the general population, creating a divide between those who were literate and those who were not. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the priesthood played a critical role in preserving sacred knowledge. Egyptian priests were custodians of religious texts, astronomical calculations, and medical knowledge, which they often guarded closely. They maintained temples, conducted rituals, and were seen as intermediaries between the gods and humanity. Much of this knowledge, particularly concerning the afterlife and cosmology, was reserved for the elite. Priests used their knowledge to interpret signs from the gods, such as the annual flooding of the Nile, which was essential for agriculture and, by extension, the survival of the Egyptian state. In doing so, they reinforced their position within society, ensuring that sacred knowledge and the power that came with it remained in the hands of a select few. The importance of knowledge as a source of power can also be seen in ancient Greece, where philosophers like Pythagoras and Plato developed intricate systems of thought that were accessible only to an inner circle of disciples. Pythagoras, known for his contributions to mathematics, also believed in the mystical significance of numbers. His teachings were not just about practical mathematical applications, but about understanding the cosmos through numerical relationships. Pythagoras established a school where initiates, after proving their moral and intellectual worth, could learn these deeper truths. The distinction between the outer teachings, which were made available to the general public, and the inner teachings, reserved for the initiated, reflects the belief that certain knowledge was too profound or dangerous for those unprepared to grasp it. Plato's philosophy, too, was built on the idea of an intellectual elite. In the Republic, he describes the philosopher king, a ruler who has transcended the cave of ignorance and gained access to the true forms of reality. Plato believed that only those who had undergone rigorous philosophical training could understand these forms, which represent the ultimate truths about justice, beauty, and the good. In this view, not everyone is capable of achieving such understanding. Only a select few can reach the highest levels of knowledge and wisdom. The 33rd degree in Freemasonry, a modern expression of ancient wisdom, Freemasonry, a fraternal organization that traces its origins to the stonemason guilds of medieval Europe, has long been associated with the idea of secret knowledge. Within Freemasonry, the Scottish Rite consists of 33 degrees, each representing a step on the path toward greater understanding, morality, and leadership. The 33rd degree is the highest and is awarded as an honorary degree to those who have demonstrated exceptional service to the fraternity or to society. It is not something that a member can attain through ritual progression alone. It is bestowed upon those who have been deemed worthy by their peers. The teachings of Freemasonry are highly symbolic, drawing from ancient mythology, biblical stories, and enlightenment philosophy. The rituals and symbols used in Masonic ceremonies are intended to impart moral and ethical lessons to the initiates, encouraging them to strive for personal improvement and contribute to the betterment of humanity. The 33rd degree, while often shrouded in mystery by outsiders, represents a culmination of these principles, symbolizing wisdom, selflessness, and a deep commitment to the values of the fraternity. For those within Freemasonry, the 33rd degree is more about moral leadership and philosophical understanding than it is about esoteric or magical knowledge. However, for many outside the fraternity, the 33rd degree has come to represent the ultimate in secret, hidden wisdom. Conspiracy theories often portray the 33rd degree Masons as part of an elite group that controls world events, manipulating governments, economies, and religions from behind the scenes. These theories, while largely unfounded, reflect the human fascination with the idea that there are powerful hidden forces at work in the world. Forces understood and controlled only by a select few. Mystery schools of the ancient world. The concept of elite, hidden knowledge extends far beyond Freemasonry, drawing from traditions that reach back to the mystery schools of the ancient world. These schools were centers of spiritual and philosophical training, where initiates underwent rigorous rituals and teachings to access deeper truths about life, death, and the cosmos. The Eleusinian mysteries, which originated in ancient Greece, are one of the most famous examples of such a school. The Eleusinian mysteries revolved around the myth of Demeter and Persephone, and focused on the themes of death and rebirth. Participants in these mysteries were sworn to secrecy, and very little is known about the specific rituals involved. However, the initiation process is believed to have been intense and transformative, involving fasting, meditation, and symbolic rites. The initiates, who had proven themselves worthy through their dedication, were believed to gain insight into the afterlife and the cyclical nature of existence. The knowledge they received was considered too sacred for the uninitiated, and was therefore closely guarded. The mystery schools of ancient Egypt also played a role in preserving and transmitting esoteric knowledge. Temples such as the Temple of Thoth were dedicated to the study of cosmology, astronomy, and the afterlife. Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and knowledge, was believed to have authored texts that contained the secrets of the universe. Access to these texts was restricted to the highest levels of the priesthood, ensuring that only the most disciplined and devoted scholars could gain access to this knowledge. In this way, the priesthood maintained its authority over both religious and intellectual life in ancient Egypt. These mystery schools, much like modern Freemasonry, created a system where knowledge was stratified, with the most profound truths reserved for those who had undergone the proper training and initiation. The idea that certain knowledge was too dangerous or complex for the masses to comprehend was central to the mystery traditions, reinforcing the notion that elite knowledge was a source of both power and responsibility. Religious esotericism, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, and Sufism. The concept of hidden or elite knowledge also manifests in many of the world's major religions, particularly in their esoteric branches. In early Christianity, Gnosticism was one such movement. Gnostics believed that salvation came not through faith alone, but through gnosis, a deep experiential knowledge of the divine. This knowledge, they argued, was hidden from most people and could only be accessed by those who had undergone spiritual awakening. Gnostic texts, such as the Gospel of Thomas and the Apocryphon of John, reveal a complex cosmology where the material world is seen as a prison for the soul, and only those who possess gnosis can escape it and return to the divine realm. Gnosticism was eventually deemed heretical by the early Christian Church, which sought to establish a more universal and accessible doctrine. In Judaism, the mystical tradition of Kabbalah similarly offers a hidden interpretation of the Torah. Kabbalists believe that the Torah contains layers of meaning that can only be unlocked through intense study and spiritual practice. The Zohar, the foundational text of Kabbalistic thought, explores the nature of God, the structure of the universe, and the relationship between the divine and the material world. For centuries, Kabbalistic teachings were restricted to a select group of scholars who had demonstrated the intellectual and spiritual maturity necessary to handle such profound knowledge. This restriction was based on the belief that Kabbalistic knowledge, if misunderstood or misused, could lead to spiritual harm. In Islam, Sufism represents another form of religious esotericism. Sufis seek to experience God directly, often through practices such as meditation, chanting, and poetry. Sufism emphasizes the inner, mystical aspects of Islam, focusing on the personal relationship between the believer and the divine. Like other esoteric traditions, Sufism requires a process of initiation, where students are guided by a spiritual master who leads them through stages of purification and awakening. The ultimate goal is to achieve union with the divine, a state of consciousness that transcends ordinary religious practice. The symbolism of the number 33. The number 33, which is central to the idea of 33rd degree knowledge, holds significant symbolic meaning across various traditions. In numerology, 33 is considered a master number, representing the highest level of spiritual consciousness, altruism, and enlightenment. It is seen as the number of the teacher or guide who has reached a state of wisdom that goes beyond individual concerns and focuses on the greater good of humanity. This aligns with the role of the 33rd degree Mason, who is expected to exemplify moral leadership and a commitment to the betterment of society. In Christian tradition, the number 33 is also significant because it is believed to be the age at which Jesus Christ was crucified. This has led to interpretations of the number as representing spiritual completion, sacrifice, and the fulfillment of a divine mission. The idea of spiritual mastery, represented by the number 33, resonates with the concept of elite knowledge, wisdom that is not easily attained, but that requires dedication, sacrifice, and moral purity. Conspiracy theories and the modern fascination with hidden knowledge. In modern times, the idea of 33rd degree knowledge has been co-opted by conspiracy theorists who claim that secret societies, such as the Freemasons or the Illuminati, control hidden knowledge that allows them to manipulate world events. These theories suggest that the elite possess esoteric wisdom that enables them to dominate governments, economies, and even religions. While these claims are largely unsupported by evidence, they reflect a deep-seated human fascination with the idea that there are hidden forces at work in the world, understood only by a select few. This fascination with secret knowledge has also permeated popular culture. Books, films, and television shows often depict hidden societies and ancient wisdom as key elements in their narratives. Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, for example, explores the idea of secret codes and hidden knowledge passed down through centuries by the Priory of Sion, a secret society tasked with protecting the truth about the Holy Grail. Similarly, the National Treasure film series revolves around the discovery of hidden maps and symbols that lead to ancient treasures and profound truths. In these depictions, the idea of 33rd degree knowledge serves as a metaphor for humanity's ongoing quest for understanding. The concept of hidden truths, accessible only to the initiated, speaks to our desire to uncover the mysteries of existence and to transcend the limitations of ordinary perception. Conclusion: the enduring allure of hidden wisdom. The concept of 33rd degree knowledge symbolizes the human pursuit of enlightenment, the idea that there is always a higher level of understanding to be attained. Whether through ancient mystery schools, religious esotericism, or modern fraternal orders, the notion that certain truths are too powerful or complex for the masses has shaped the course of history. Those who control this knowledge, whether they are priests, philosophers, or secret societies, are seen as possessing a unique power, one that allows them to influence the world in ways that are invisible to ordinary people. The allure of hidden wisdom continues to captivate the human imagination. Whether it exists in reality or is simply a symbolic representation of our highest aspirations, the idea of 33rd degree knowledge speaks to a fundamental aspect of human nature: the desire to rise above the ordinary, to master the unknown, and to uncover the ultimate truths about the universe. As long as there are mysteries to be solved and knowledge to be gained, the concept of elite hidden wisdom will continue to inspire both awe and intrigue.